Either you stand with the family, you defend it, or you don't. And if you don't, then you're an agent of despair and moral chaos. You're the enemy, you're a demonic force. Like, you cannot possibly be an agent for good in the culture if you stand against the family. Let's see, this is from Post Millennial. Democratic Socialists of America recently published a panel discussion from its annual Socialism Conference that featured open calls for the abolition of the nuclear family and traditional family structure in the U.S. The panel, titled The Left and the Family, a roundtable, took place on July 4th and was part of the Socialism Conference in Chicago. The video was uploaded to YouTube on Friday, and DSA wrote in the caption that the nuclear family is an inherently repressive, racist, and heterosexist institution that functionally reinforces and reproduces capitalism. Well, rather than reading about it, I'll play some of the highlights that Post Millennial provided in their article. So here are some of the highlights from this socialism event. Here it is.
And on that revolutionary horizon, want to perform abortions in a church, but before it's all said and done.
The only real difference between marriage and prostitution is the price and the duration of the contract.
We can fight for family abolition, we can imagine family abolition because we have seen Black women do it, because we have seen these indigenous communities do it.
But to me it is the institution of marriage can only exist alongside the criminalization of sex workers.
Children whose parents are unable to provide either housing, food, or safety are treated as if they have committed a crime. So kids themselves are treated as if they have committed a crime if they're not born into a family that can support them.
In addition to abolition of family policing, you argue for abolition of the family in general. And say that the institution of the family acts as part of the carceral system in the way that it reinforces children as property.
I think the left is constantly surprised at how you people are, ready for revolt, despite, the extremely dire conditions that we're in that keep becoming more and more dire every day.
Women and children are the most harmed by capitalism, but also women and children are the architects of their fate.
So when we talk about family abolition, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the abolition of that economic unit. For me, that liberatory horizon is to say it is a horizon in which kinship and care are, in which all of our material needs are taken care of by the collective.
Sex work, the criminalization of sex work is like the dark underbelly of the sanctified, reified, and legally enforced institution of exchanging your bodily autonomy and your sexuality for economic security. I don't think one can exist without the other.
Okay, so that's a whole lot of insane nonsense, but this is what so-called democratic socialists are all about. And remember, the guy who's about to be the next mayor of our largest city in New York, Zohran Mamdani, is a democratic socialist. This is his ideology. This is his belief system. So we can't just write it off as this fringe radical thing, some sort of aberration. It's not that. This is what they believe. And it really highlights a point that I want to make, which is that, what are all these socialists railing against? What are they always railing against? What do they hate the most? The family, the nuclear family, mom, dad, children. That's what they hate. That's their enemy. That's the thing that they have been working to destroy. And this, to me, is the dividing line. This is the pivotal point, the centerpiece of everything is the family. And the dividing line in our culture war, our political battles and our cultural battles, the dividing line is the family. On one side, you have those who defend the family and seek to preserve it and promote it and celebrate it. And on the other, you have those who want to destroy it or abandon it or subvert it or give up on it or surrender it. Those are the two sides, really. And if you're on the side of subversion and abandonment, then you are the enemy. You're my enemy. You're the enemy. I want nothing to do with you. We're not on the same side. Right? I don't care what else we agree on. I don't care. We could agree on every other issue. But if you are not a defender of the family, then we're not on the same side. I want absolutely nothing to do with you. But you may have seen this. Utah and Florida recently banned fluoride in their drinking water. Now ask yourself, why are they doing a massive U-turn on a chemical that's been pumped into our water for 80 years? Maybe it's because they finally realized what we've known all along, that it's authoritarian. The government claims fluoride's for healthy teeth, but that's just nanny state nonsense. You don't need bureaucrats medicating your water. You need the freedom to choose pure water. And that's why my family uses Cove Pure, a countertop water purifier certified to remove up to 99.9% of impurities. That includes fluoride, yes, but also other garbage as well, stuff that I cannot pronounce, PFAS, fertilizer runoff, pharmaceuticals, you name it, all that kind of stuff. First thing I noticed with Cove Pure is the taste. Guys, this is what water is supposed to taste like. Pure, clean, no aftertaste. I actually want to drink more. And it's so easy, no drilling, no plumbers. Just fill it and plug it in, and that's it. The best part is you can choose any temperature, hot or cold, with one tap. Look, if you like fluoride and you want to drink more of it, go ahead. But what I would recommend is using toothpaste, use mouthwash. But look, the government has no business forcing it into your water supply. So don't wait for the government to sort out pure water. Do it yourself. Head to covepure.com/Walsh, and for a limited time, get $200 off. And I want to make that point because the fact is, there are some people on the right, supposedly on the right, who are, and this is an increasing problem, I think, these people who are basically anti-family. They're against marriage. They're against family life. They have nothing but negative things to say about it. They despise men who get married. They think that getting married is like selling out, simping, or whatever. And those people are just like the people we saw in the video. I mean, they're no better. In fact, they're worse. They're worse because they should know better. They're certainly no better. Either you stand with the family, you defend it, or you don't. And if you don't, then you're an agent of despair and moral chaos. You're the enemy. You're a demonic force. We're not allies. We can never be allies. I want your whole worldview and everything you stand for to be destroyed if you stand against the family. Like you cannot possibly be an agent for good in the culture if you stand against the family. You cannot possibly be. It's impossible. You're pro-family or anti-family. That's it. That's all that's what matters to me. Now, if we can agree that we're pro-family, then we could go on and we could talk about a lot of other really important issues. But the first litmus test for me is pro-family or anti-family. And if you're anti-family, I don't care how you arrived at that conclusion. I don't care what your reason is. I don't care what kind of language you use when describing it. Doesn't matter. You're anti-family. You're an enemy of this country. You're an enemy of civilization. There is no version of conservatism that is anti-family or apathetic to the family or not actively promoting the family. Because if we're not trying to conserve the family, then there is nothing else worth conserving. If we are not conserving the family, there's not a single other possible thing that could be worth. Everything else is destroyed. Everything you care about is destroyed if we are not conserving and promoting and defending the family. If we don't have the family, nothing else matters. You go ahead and tell me what other issue. Well, that doesn't matter because of this issue. That issue means nothing. That issue is if we don't have the family, okay? You can't be America first if you're not rabidly pro-family and promoting the family, encouraging people to start families, because America can't exist without families. No country can exist. America first. What's America then? Well, you want to have America but no families? How's that work? What's that going to look like? Well, I'll tell you what America with no families looks like. It looks like any inner city. It looks like extinction. It looks like moral chaos. It looks like total dysfunction and destruction is what it looks like. And if that's what you want for America, then there's no America first. It's not conservatism. Civilization cannot exist without the family. The family is the bedrock of human civilization. Everything is grounded in the family. Everything starts with the family. So why do I obsess about it all the time? Why do I talk about it all the time? Why do I refuse to give in to this black pill, despairing, cowardly nonsense? Oh, it's too late. We can't. We got to give up on it. It's broken. Why do I refuse? Well, because if I do that, then there's nothing else worth talking about. Just pack it in. Give up, really. At that point, just give up. If you've given up on the family, just give up in general. There's no point. What are you doing with your life? Why try? Why try to do anything? What are you fighting for? What are you doing anyway? Voting? Who cares? Immigration, the border? What does any of that matter? You've given up on the family. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters at that point. So just give up, stay at your house, play on your phone, and bide your time until you die. I mean, that's you might as well just do that. So I defend and fight for the family because nothing else matters if I don't, if we all don't, right? And this is it's so fundamental and so basic that for a long time, for most of human history, really, there was no reason to identify yourself as like a defender of the family or you're pro-family. For much of human history, particularly much of Western civilization, that was a stance that did not ever need to be said. You'd be looked at as strange if you went around saying, go around in the 1600s, right, and say, I'm pro-family. People will look at you like you got 5 heads. Not because they're against the family, but just because, obviously. Right? That's the most basic thing. Of course what are you going to be? Against the family? Well, now we actually have that stance exists now. That's a real thing. That's a not just real, but that is a position that people have that is growing in power and prominence, and it's not just on the left. Left and right, you find this. And there's we have no use for it. Which doesn't mean that, look, everyone, I'll be the first to say this, that when it comes to conservatives who are sort of in the movement, whether they're talking heads or activists or whatever, people have different issues that they focus on. They have different aptitudes, different things that they have special insight into. And so it's not that every conservative needs to only ever talk about defending the family, but if you're out there actively degrading it, demonizing it, mocking it, belittling it, all that sort of thing, then you're like those socialists there's no difference. There's no meaningful distinction anymore. You're an enemy of civilization. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.